You're tuned in to Grown Folks Production. In the mix with the commish, Nate.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Press Pass Live. I got my guy Big Hurt with me tonight. We're flying a little solo, just me and him talking OMFL. Big Hurt, how you doing tonight, bud? Oh, hold on. I gotta reset this thing. I've got it to where it turns it down, but it don't turn it back up. I gotta reset that. That's on me. Try that again.
I'm good. I'm ready to be excited and here and ready for some Press Pass Live.
I'm going to need you to fix the weather over there in Omaha. You're screwing up my LSU Tigers championship run here.
Yeah, I'm not Mother Nature, but I am pulling for the from the Tigers. So I kind of always excited when LSU's in Omaha. Just the fans that LSU brings is something that Omaha appreciates and enjoys. So as a home native of Omaha, I'm excited whenever they're here.
It's always a fun time when LSU is over there. And one of these days, my wife and I are going to get it over there. We're going to make it happen some way, somehow. I'm ready to talk some OMFL, so let's jump right into it. We're going to do our little 2-minute drill. Let's start here in week number 11. It's just me and you, so we got plenty of time to talk. I figured, man, I'm going to knock this thing out early, catch the rest of the LSU game if it comes back on, and be able to get to sleep before midnight. Saints-Falcons, my Saints bounce back against Fleury, 44-26. The Titans beat the Bears. Kobe getting that victory over C-Murder, 35-21. Joker with a 20-17 win over Lost Sniper. Bird flexing over Kevin, 34-0. Bill with a win over Twinkie, 20-14. But the wheels sort of have fallen off here lately for Mr. Bill. A massive game here for the Lions and Tim, 38-33 over Priest. Cincinnati and Little Koch with a 14-13 victory. You rarely see that 1-point low-scoring game against Mr. Maniac. Penguins with a 42-21 victory over Luca. Another 1-point game. You don't see these a lot, and we've seen 2 here in the same week. 19-18 over Crazy B-Man, who sadly will be retiring after this Madden cycle. Cincyberg with a 31-28 victory over D-Money. And boy, that has started a hot button topic here late in the season. We'll talk about it a little later. Meek Boy with a 33-14 victory over Mile High, or Jay Glaze? Yeah, Jay Glaze. Man, I always get it mixed up. I can never get it right. Logan with a 41-31 victory over Jay Bowles. Mr. Bronco Man on vacation right now, but he comes away with a 42-20 victory over Roger. I think Roger gets him back, though, in a CPU game in just another couple of advances here. Denbrew with a 24-20 victory over Nipples. And then finally wrapping it up, Nice Songer with a 27-14 victory over Trey and those Washington Commanders. What caught your eye here in week number 11, Big Hurt?
I mean, looking at the games, I was kind of shocked that the Bengals and the Bills had kind of a low-scoring game. Little Koch has kind of found his way and found some momentum here in this final season of this cycle. But is only pulling out a 14-13 win. Maniac complete defense, but it's just been the way things are going. I expected that to be a little bit more of a points game. But I also was looking at the way Roger's been playing, and I think Randy was looking forward to putting on his best nipple impersonation, getting on that cruise. I was kind of shocked that he got a big 22-point win to keep his dominance in the way he's been playing lately. So those are the 2 games that kind of stood out to me the most.
I hate to do it, Big Hurt, but let's keep the video here. But we're going to switch audio over to Discord. I don't know why, but this isn't something ain't liking something here, and it sounds sort of like a robot with some feedback. I was hoping it would clear itself up, but it didn't. So let's hop over to the Discord chat and see if that helps fix some things. I'm going to mute you here. I'm going to mute myself there. He can't hear me, but you guys can, and hopefully Hopefully this is going to clean it up whenever Big Hurt gets over here. Big Hurt, give me a little test mic. Let me see.
Test.
That's way better. I don't know what the deal was, but something about our original setup, it did not like it at all. And yeah, it was not playing nice at all. But we got it all fixed, and we're a lot better now. And so hopefully we'll be good to go. Let me just move some things around here. As you guys know, tech issues are always a blast for me. And I should have probably checked all that stuff before we got rolling. Let me go ahead and minimize this thing right here. Let's get back over here. Yeah, I agree with you. I thought there were some really, really good games. A couple of 1-point victories here. I think that was a big win for Denbrew. I don't know if he's actually trying this season, if he's going to try to make a run as we get going here, but that was a big-time victory. I think Penguins is quietly having a spectacular season as Pittsburgh comes away with a big victory over Luka. I know Luka's not having the season that he wishes that he was having. A big win for Joker as he's trying to turn things around here in the second half of the season. And I just got to pat myself on the back here. Big bounce back victory against a very, very good Fleury and Atlanta Falcons team. That was good to see from my Saints as they stay red hot. Looking at week number 12, we got Nipples with a 31-19 victory over Maniac, who's just ready to pull the plug on everything. He's over it. He's so over it. He's not even with us here tonight. We got Cincyberg with a 40.
All about hockey.
It's about hockey right now, at least. Hey, whatever it takes to reset, get ready for Madden 26, I'm fine with it. Cincyberg with a 42-10 victory over Massimo. Not going to talk about your game. That was sad, though. It sucked you guys couldn't play. Was it just a schedule issue? That would have been a fun game.
Yeah, it was strictly a schedule. My daughter's birthday was this weekend, and then with my work schedule and then his schedule, we just had a really tough time. And then we finally found a time, and neither one of us realized it was already advanced. So we found a time kind of late Saturday night. We're like, all right, we can sneak it in. And then I got on, and I was like, never mind, it already advanced.
Yeah, they already got you. We got Luka with a 22-21 victory over Kobe. I think that might have been a CPU game. Mr. Bronco Man with a 45-21 victory over Nicesunger. I think that one was played, but maybe not. Meat Boy gets away with a 45-41 victory. I felt like I let him off the hook. I knew who he was. But if you want to crown their ass, crown their ass. I thought for sure I had him. I just threw too many picks, man. That's what Seattle, they're just so athletic and fast. Man, I wish I could replay that game, but I'm going to see if I can get a shot at him in the playoffs. Kobe with a 27, listen to me, C-Murder, Colin with a 27-17 victory over Twinkie. Bird with a big victory over Joker, 31-28. Logan continues to keep hot with those Chargers, 42-0 over Crazy B-Man. J Bowles beats Kevin, 24-21. Denver with another big victory, 37-14 over J Bowles. Trey bounces back 24-10 over the New York Giants. And Bill, a massive scoring output in this game. Tim with a 49-33 victory over the Texans. And Roger, thank goodness I took the over in that game. Dwayne humbles Penguins 31-7 as Dallas beats Pittsburgh. And then finally wrapping up week number 12, 41-38. Little Koch beats Lost Sniper. I think maybe Lost was out for this one. I'm not fully sure. Maybe not. Maybe I've got that all twisted in my head. Anything catch your eye in this one?
Well, something I forgot to talk about in week 11, but also kind of ties into week 12 is kind of shocked that Kobe with the Titans gets a big win over the Bears, but then comes back and falls to the Chiefs in a 1-point game.
Yeah.
And then, I failed to mention that you had a pretty good game against the Falcons, but you turn around and played one of the top ever echelon, especially regular season owners here in the Seahawks, and you proved that you're not going anywhere. It's not a fluke, but a 4-point loss. And you said turnovers, and that can just be the key of any game, especially come playoff time. But, you battled with one of the top dogs here in the NFC right now. So that was a 45-41 game. So that was looked to be a good one. Definitely would have liked to watch that game. But one other game that I caught my eye was the Patriots and the Bengals. Little Koch and Lost Sniper's been really good here as of late. And this just kind of seemed to be like Little Koch just, like I said, found some success. But it was a matter of how much success and is it for real, like, and so, playing against the Patriots, who have been, knocking on the door and putting themselves in a position to be in the playoff talks and all that stuff, especially even in the division, the way that thing's going. That's a big win for Koch, to get that 41-38 win over Sniper.
Ooh, look at this right here. Allen, 16 for 169, and give me 3 right there. We're going to put a big star over there. I'm playing with this new little writing button that I got. You don't get to see it, but everybody on the stream. If you're on the vertical stream, well, you need to head on over to the regular stream if you want to see all the bells and whistles. There's a big-time victory there for Denbrew and Little Koch, I should say. Little Koch, as he's trying to make a run for the playoffs here in this last season. Week number 13 is going to be the last one we look at. Only a couple of games left here. Eagles, Cowboys left to play. Raiders, Titans left to play. And I think that's it. And I think that Raiders-Titans game is going down tomorrow. Maybe it's the Eagles, Cowboys. I don't know. I can't hardly keep up. Let's look at the games that did get played. Logan, they 24-3 victory over Maniac. That one seemed to be the straw that broke the camel's back for Mr. Maniac, but I believe in him. He's going to get things turned around. Joker with a 35-0 win over Bill. To shut out Bill is an amazing feat. He is such a solid player. Little Koch continues to stay hot here. Big Hurt 45-27 over Massimo. My Saints flex on Trey 35-0. Mr. Tim comes away with a big interdivisional rival here, 26-24 over Priest. And I know those two, that one just feels a little extra good whenever you get that big time victory. Bird with a 23-17 victory over D-Money. Tanking? I don't know. We'll have to talk about it. Lost Sniper with a 20-17 victory over Luca. Roger with a 34-30 victory over Nicesonger, who's trying to find some consistency there. Meat Boy with a 45-35 victory over Kevin. I took the under. Boy, I couldn't have been more wrong. Where'd Kevin get on this scoring streak all of a sudden? Man, it totally happened. Penguins, a 37-34 victory over Denver, who maybe checked out for the summer. I don't know. I ain't heard from him in weeks, so maybe he's done for the summer. Your Minnesota Vikings with a CPU win, 34-6 over those Colts, and I know him. He's going to want to get you back. So if you make it all the way, look, he's going to be coming after you. And then finally, Fleury with a 31-10 victory over the Rams. Anything catching your eye here in week number 13?
Yeah, a lot's is catching my eye here. And I missed, you said the Commanders Saints. Was that a CPU or was that
it was a real game? It was a real game.
I mean, not to knock or to put down, but like typically, I feel like you're known for defensive plays, but to pitch a shutout against a guy like Trey, that really speaks volume to where your team is right now. And being able to look at this, you put up, I think if I remember right, 44, 41, and now 35 points, 3 consecutive weeks. That's averaging damn near 40 points a game for your Saints. That's speaking volumes to what your team is capable of doing, but also then coming out and pitching out a shutout against a team like Trey. It doesn't matter what team he has, Trey is going to find the end zone and be able to put one in. But your Saints pitches a shutout. That's a big win for you in week 13. Also, was the other game was, I hate to say this, but it's like Carolina and San Francisco. These are two heavyweights when they're both locked in, and 23-17. But it's like, it feels like D-Money is like there when it's the big games, and then other games he just feels like, eh. And so, to see this game, it's like there should be more wins in the Niners category. I don't know what's going on over there, but that game seemed to be a pretty good close battle. And then the other one, I haven't talked about this guy, but I've talked about him in previous shows, is Kevin. Like, Kevin seems to struggle, but then he plays against the Seahawks, which we just talked about, his dominance in regular season games, and Kevin puts up 35 points against the guy like Meek Boy. Like, where's the offense in the other weeks where I think it was just a week ago before that? No, it was 2 weeks before that. He got shut out by Bird, and Bird's a solid owner, but it's just kind of like week to week, it's just things are different. And so I just look at these games and I'm like, where's Kevin's offense been? And if he can put up 35 against Meek Boy, like I feel like there would be more wins in the or more wins in that win column for a guy like Kevin in other weeks where he's maybe not coming away with a win. But again, week to week, it's different, and you play your teams. Anybody can win here, so that really just kind of speaks volumes to that. And the funny thing is about my game with Randy, he did send me a message and said, "Hey, I'm going on a cruise. I'm not going to be there, so you can play my CPUs. Like, don't beat up on my Colts too bad." And I was like, "Oh, now I have to make a point." But I know he and I will probably have conversations once he gets back, and he will definitely be licking his chops the next time we line up.
I'm having fun my new little highlighter here, but I gotta go back and brag on my game. I never get to brag on my guys at all. Offensive yards gained for the Washington Commanders, 127, 70 rushing, only 57 passing yards, 4 turnovers on the day. It was a big time defensive win. It kind of got so rough there at the end, ended up taking out our starters and turning our attention to the late third and fourth quarter. Trey's a good dude, and I tried to be really honorable and I wasn't trying to run up the score or anything, but I did want to pass with my rookie quarterback. I ended up not completing one, but we sure tried. All right, I want to talk about who is your daddy. That's right, it is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all of our dads this past Sunday. Hopefully you got to spend some time with your dad or honor it and have a good time with your family, and hopefully you were honored. I laughed because as I walked the neighborhood, I walked 2 miles every day. All the dads, dude, they were out barbecuing and doing their thing. I spent the day cleaning and washing cars and just sort of doing what dads do, right? And keeping myself busy. So hopefully all of you guys got to do. But Big Herb, here's the question. I want you to name a team, a player, someone who you feel like has been the daddy this entire cycle, somebody that's completely owned it. Who's your daddy?
Is it owning the OMFL or owning me personally?
Well, I'll let you open that Pandora's box however you feel like you want to open it.
That's an interesting one. I feel like I'll answer both of them just to make it short and sweet. My kryptonite, the guy that I can never seem to get over, and I think this would be an easy one for many people, is old Dwayne. Every time I play that guy, I'm just like, oh, I'm going to play him tough. I'm going to do this. And then it's like I get in the game and I know possessions are just going to be at a premium. I've got to like make this play, do this, make and not turn the ball over. And I come out in the first drive and it's like I get a bad turnover and something else happens. The next thing you know, it's like I'm down 2 scores. And then I'm in my head, I'm like, man, this 2-score game feels like a 4-score game just playing him. So I would say Dwayne for me is mine.
Guess who the number 2 seed is right now?
What's that?
Dwayne. He's the number 2 seed right now. I'm the number 7. If the playoffs were to start tonight, I do not want to play him in the wild card round. Please, for God's sake, don't make me do that.
Yeah, that'd be tough. I think like for me, then the other thing I would say is the OMFL. I mean, there's a couple guys. I definitely would throw in D Money, but like D Money this cycle hasn't been the D Money that I'm like used to. So then I kind of go back to Dwayne. But like I feel like Trey just hasn't had a fair shot with the team that he's gotten. I think Trey with a full cycle rebuild, like team out of the box, like that fits him. He can definitely make his stamp on kind of being, the guy that everybody looks at that just doesn't want to play or wants to avoid. And then another guy like that, I would say the first half of this cycle definitely has his name in it, but the second half of the cycle has like completely just kind of blown my mind, and that's Kobe. Kobe is a guy that just a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to play Kobe. He just frustrates you. He's so honorable, like with his play call, his defense, and everything else, and then other things. But now that life's gotten the best of him and things have happened, and the second half of the cycle, Kobe's kind of removed himself from that. I would say kind of just outside of that, and I think he's putting himself into the mix, is Bird. Bird is another guy that just, I feel like the Panthers aren't the best team out of the box, but when he gets his team built and kind of built up, and now they're the Panthers team that he likes, and he's got some pieces to work with, that guy like calls the right plays at the right times and just knows how to use all the pieces. And so that guy would be another guy that I feel like could be in the mix for that conversation.
I want to talk players really quick. I think here is one that I think has completely been everyone's daddy in the regular season. Mr. Brad White. This guy is outstanding. I mean, just look at these stats. 41 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. That's what he's got this year. He was 33-12, 46-14. 29-19 was his worst season. It was our second season here. I think that's the All Madden season. I could be totally wrong about that. Maybe All Madden was 3, but his first season, 41-11. This guy is just outstanding. Brad White completely has been everyone's daddy. I'm going to tap myself on the back just a little bit. I'm playing Trey's role here tonight. Mark Anthony, the stats are not super awesome. They're not bad, though. Pretty proud of him. 25-16, 3,000, a little over 3,000, almost 3,100 yards on the season. But his deep ball, I would put up against anyone's deep ball in the entire OMFL. That guy, he's just on every deep ball I throw this season is just dime, like in the pocket. I'd also have to talk about one that Randy's already brought up in the chat, Brandon DeMarco, the receiver from Houston. Just another guy, year after year after year. Here's the Madden, just this cycle, not even mentioning last cycle, 88 receptions, 2,300 yards. 80 receptions, 2,400 yards. 77 with 1,900 yards is his worst season. He only had 14 touchdowns that year. Then we got 86 with 2,500 yards. And so far this season, 66 for 1,621 touchdowns already. He's on pace to break his touchdown record already this Madden cycle. I think he's been another one that has just been absolutely outstanding. And then there's a couple of runners that we could talk about. Now, it's a little bit different this year because the Seahawks, not the Seahawks, listen to me, the Colts have been off a little bit, but I think the Colts overall have had really good running backs. But Chance McMullen, another season, he's going to break 1,000 yards again. He's already got 10 touchdowns. He'll probably finish with 15 or 16. He's normally in the 20 touchdown range. We'll look at his stats really quick so far this cycle. He's got his first season, 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns, 1,100 yards, 22, 1,400 yards, 18, 1,400 yards, 17, and like I said, almost 1,000 with 10 touchdowns so far this season. So another running back having an outstanding season. Now, what were you saying?
I was going to say just one player that I feel like we have to throw in there, and I kind of took the team perspective, but one player that I feel like we can't leave out is Earl Lowry from the Jets. This dude is a rookie, came in, had 140 catches, 1,700 yards, 18 touchdowns, then 131 catches, over 2,200 yards, 21 touchdowns, 148 catches, almost 2,500 yards, 17 touchdowns. And now this year, right now, he's got 103 catches for just under 1,800 yards and 16 touchdowns. This guy's averaging the last 3 years 130, 146, and 146 yards per game. Like, you put a receiver like that on the field, like with Cincy's, in Cincy's hands, this dude is like a problem. And yeah, I just think that would be another guy like that. He's top of the league by 20 catches by any other player. That's just almost downright stupid, but I think this guy's owning the stat sheet. But I think it's like I said, it's no surprise that like a guy like that in Cincy's hands is going to cause a lot of problems.
We got to have at least one defensive player, Micah Parsons, averaging double-digit sacks. And in the OMFL and Madden, that's a lot. 14, 12, 10, 9, 14. He's already got 9.5 this season. The guy has been just an absolute monster, just having his way with each and every offensive line that he's ever faced. The guy is just a brutal defensive player that you got to face. And I think somebody who's completely owned that division and in a lot of ways has owned the NFC, just hasn't got over that hump. There's something about the NFC championship game. I don't know if it's a timing thing because poor D. Wayne, he has some crazy hours at work. I don't know if it's sort of like he loses, like he gets the big wins early. I don't know what it is. There's something about that NFC championship game that has either tripped him up or made him lose interest there at the end. And Micah Parsons, though, has been one of the top players to keep him there. You ready to open up the OMFL mailbag?
Two other players, just quickly throwing names out, not even going into stats, but Tariq Woolen, the corner for Seattle, with 17 interceptions is insane. And then the other player I'll just throw in as another game changer is Lucas Van Ness for Priest. That guy consistently year to year is always in the top like 3 in sacks and just wreaks havoc on the line. Yeah, I'm down for the mailbag.
I thought about Lucas Van Ness as well. He's not having a spectacular season this year, but he has been
down here this year for sure. But he's always at the top, though.
Always at the top. That was a big player for Priest, at least this entire cycle. All right, let's get it started with Tim. He said, what division race are you most looking forward to seeing how it finishes? Let's run through a couple of these really quick as I hit the absolutely wrong button that I'm looking for. I'm looking for standings. So here we go. We're going to get over here. I'm going to run through them really quick. AFC North, you got the Bengals and Steelers. Technically, the Ravens are still in that running. Over here in the AFC South, it is the Colts and Texans. Colts leaving the door cracked open for the Texans to make a run. AFC East, boy, that's a weird division. We'll probably talk about that one. Everyone, kind of, except for the Dolphins, are technically in the running for that. AFC West looks pretty much sewn up with the Chargers at 9-3. NFC North, we got technically a 3-headed race here. Bears, Vikings, and Lions. Packers are pretty much out of it. NFC South, this one belongs to the Panthers, sitting at 10-2. They've pretty much got that one wrapped up. NFC East, pretty much owned by the Cowboys at 10-1. And NFC West, how many times have we been able to say this? It's sewn up with the Seahawks at 11-1. So we've only got one real race here in the NFC and a couple races over in the AFC. Any of these catching your eye that you want to see how it finishes?
Well, I mean, obviously my division in the NFC North, I definitely am interested to see how it finishes. Me and Colin right now, but Tim's right in the rear, trying to, stay within arm's reach. So that one definitely is one. But I think for the one that I would probably be most interested in is the AFC East, just because it's like, I feel like going in, I thought that there was a Super Bowl contender in this division, and that was multiple teams. The Jets, the Bills, and Lost, I feel like all are really. But I also have talked about how Massimo can be just like a guy that sneaks into the playoffs, and he's done it before, getting a 7 seed and made an OMFL Bowl run. So all 4 owners in this division are capable of making some noise. And I just feel like this division, this season, the door is like wide open. And I think right now it's probably, with the last couple weeks, the Patriots like losing to the Bengals and stuff, you're probably looking at the Jets and the Bills right now. The Bills would have to probably get a couple wins, and the Jets would have to have a slip up. But, just to be talking about an AFC East division winner at 7-5 right now is kind of shocking. So I think that would be probably the one division I'm tuning into to see kind of how things shake up. But I also don't want to forget about the AFC South, because with Randy at 10-1, he got that loss to me, but Rodgers had a really dominant year at 9-4, and he's right there. If Randy has another game where he misses or two while he's on that cruise and things tighten up, let's just see how week 17, 18 shape up. That can make things a little interesting, down the stretch here. So that's another division I'd probably keep an eye on.
I absolutely agree. I'm going to go with the AFC North. Look at this, a 7-game winning streak for the Bengals. They're playing Absolutely outstanding. Great defense, 241. Great offense, 386. Mama has found her mojo with Little Koch sitting at 10-2. All of these teams are still technically in it though. Steelers 8-4, Ravens at 7-5, Browns even at 6-6. Even if they don't make a run at the division, they can mess up a couple of these other teams. And we know that Bengals, Browns, there's a little love fest there, a little buddy bowl. So we'll see exactly how that plays out as that continues to roll out. But that's going to be a really fun division to see how that one ends up playing out. I think you were right. The NFC North is going to be a ton of fun. These teams are really beating up on one another. The Packers are the one that I have my eye on. I know they're sitting at 3-9. They're not going to make a run. They're going to play spoiler for somebody. They're going to pick up a win against someone that they're not supposed to, and that's going to make this division a lot of fun. Those two divisions I've talked about, I think, are two of the tougher divisions to sort of nail down, to know exactly what has happened to those teams. It just doesn't seem to be a normal season that we see from either of those guys. And I can't wait to see how that one continues to play out. All right, let's get over here and continue with the OMFL mailbag. Tim says, what rookie has impressed you? And could you see being an import to Madden 26? We're talking about rookies here in season 115. I got to be honest, this is one thing I wish Madden did a little bit better. Let me see the rookie stats. Let me be able to filter by rookies. Neon Sports does that so much better. Any rookies catching your eye that you think, man, these guys might be some imports that we see in Madden 26?
I don't know what, it really just kind of comes down how the owner wants to build their team, but just on guys that I think that could be importable would, for one, be Jimmy Blanco for the Dolphins, the quarterback. He's airing it out pretty well. Completion percentage is a little low. Touchdown interception ratio quite isn't there, but with Tua, if you're not a left-handed quarterback fan, and just how the Dolphins are built, this could be a guy that you could bring in at 6'5", 233 pounds. Massimo might be looking at bringing him in. I would also say, what was the...
What about your guy? What about Keith Johnson?
I mean, he might be, but for me, honestly, I've thought about it just because I got the Vikings, but I'm also on the fence about just my importable guys, just because I do have JJ McCarthy, who's a second-year player. And I think from what I heard rating-wise, he's going to be a high 70, which is going to be pretty comparable to where Keith is at right now. So again, that's just going to be kind of what are my needs going in and how many imports I'm able to bring over based on everything. So I do think he's in the mix, but I wouldn't say he's a for sure guy just because, I'm fortunate to have a second-year player at a quarterback spot with the Vikings out of the box. So Keith isn't a for sure thing yet. But I would say Jermichael Hopkins, the running back for the Bucks. I don't know that Kevin would bring a running back over, but I could definitely see him bringing an offensive piece over. And this running back has seemed to found some success. Being he's a superstar X factor and he's got 97 speed at the running back spot, it's hard to find running backs that kind of have that. And so, I think, again, Kevin's an offensive-minded guy. I think the receiver spot is probably a little bit more his liking, but we'll see. The Bucks might need a little extra from that offense out of the box for Madden 26, and this running back has 97 speed, so that could cause some issues. The one thing I would say is Jarius Tyson for the 49ers, the receiver. He's known to bring corners over, but I could see him bringing this receiver over and just using him as trade bait. For sure. Just this guy's just, a baller, 98 speed, he's got all the stuff like that Roger or Colin or anybody would like be attracted to as a receiver. So again, I don't see D Money bringing him over and being like, oh, I'm going to use him for the whole cycle. But I definitely think I could see him bringing him over and use him as a trade bait.
He did keep his last import receiver the whole cycle, so we got to give him credit there.
Yeah. I mean, and he could. Like I said, that'd just be something. But then another receiver that I could possibly see is Gary Tyson for the Cardinals. With Joker, he likes those speed guys. He likes those vertical guys. He's done that in college and in Madden. And I mean, it's easy to say when you got a 99 speed receiver that kind of speaks vertical route. So and he's got the 90 deep ball route rating with 95 jumping. So I would say Gary Tyson, receiver for the Cardinals, could be definitely somebody that I could see as a rookie that's importable. I would like to see more defensive guys like that aren't corners, a D end or a linebacker. So I am going to go with Danny Higgins, the linebacker for the Commanders.
Yep. I guess who just I was going to
fast, and he's 250 pounds.
Yep.
I could see Trey bringing him over and just putting him in the middle of a defense and causing problems for sure. But then, yeah, I mean, corner wise, I don't really know if there's any rookies. I think there's definitely some importable players. I don't know if there's any corner that came out of that last class that's a rookie this season. Or like a safety or anything, but I would say that linebacker for sure is probably the one guy that I'm out of this last class that would be importable. Maybe Cliff Childress, depending on how he progresses for the Titans. He's a defensive end. He's got good speed and good power move, and he is a superstar X factor. So but he's more of a 4-3 edge rusher. Again, that just depends on like how he wants to build his team. But I could see those are probably the two defensive guys, and then the other offensive guys would be the guys that I would say out of the rookie class right now for me.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of receivers in this next Madden, especially with what Madden is saying is that, 4-2 guy is going to feel like a 4-2 guy. So I think we're going to see a lot of wide receivers go. Dwayne in the chat said Chad Gray, safety, may come with him into Madden 26. So there's another one for your list. Nice Songer. What is one thing that you've learned about your team building in Madden 25 that you will use in Madden 26? That's a great question. I think for me, Nice Songer, it has been finding time personally as the commissioner here to just push guys that can help me with my rebuild. My Saints are going to be another Madden rebuild for at least one more cycle. And I think I sort of put guys out there, but rarely does anyone call. So I think finding a way to really hit the reset button earlier than normal is going to be something that I use kind of going into the new Madden cycle. I think one of the things that I've learned is I talked myself out of an offensive lineman, and that made me waste some picks later in this Madden. So I think finding those imports that keep you from having to use picks on specific positions that maybe aren't as sexy or aren't as easy to build, offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, those positions. But ultimately, I think for me in a reset, get rid of players as quick as possible, hit the reset button, eat it for season 1, get a solid draft and turn it around for season 2. What about you, Big Hurt?
I think for me, just really the big thing that I always kind of look at is what is your identity? What do you want to be? And then staying true to it. Like a lot of times I'm like, oh, I'm going to run the ball more, or I'm going to feed this guy more, or I'm going to play more defense and try and just put myself in better positions and like have a better third down percentage on defense or whatever focus point I want to have. And then I like get into games in the moment and I just get away from that. And so I think it's really staying true to your game plan is the biggest thing. We all have different styles of play. We all can do different things, and we're all building teams to our liking. And, one thing I'll say is like D Money was really good in a stretch because he ran the ball and he had those running backs and he had the corners that just played lockdown defense. But that was D Money style ball. And then you look at D Wayne, he just runs the ball so efficiently, and his passing is like only when he needs it, he like does he rely on it. But the times where he's forced to pass the game and gets out of his comfort zone, he just seems to struggle. But I just think like Roger, Roger gets that position where he can throw the ball vertically and have the guys to do it. Those are the times I look at these, and it's like you've built your team and you're staying true to like what you want to do. But yes, you still have to be, you can't be one dimensional. You still have to run the ball a little bit. Like Colin did a really good job in the bowl game. Yeah, he aired it out, was top of the league in passing, but he ran the ball efficiently enough to make the other defense respect that style or respect that like part of his game. But yet he still used the passing game to rely on. And I think that's the one thing is just finding the guys that fit your style and really putting the work in and staying true to that.
Yep, I agree. I think you got to find your style, and then you got to go and you got to absolutely stick with it. Nice Hunger says, with players like Travis Hunter, do you think we will have to look at the criteria for position changes? My knee-jerk reaction is no. I do not think that we will have to look at that. I think Travis Hunter is the extreme exception, not the rule. I also personally don't think he'll be able to do it in the NFL. He is not Deion Sanders as much as he wishes he was. He's a Temu Deion Sanders. He's just not the same player. And I personally don't think his frame is going to be able to hold up in the NFL playing both sides of the ball. And I don't think you're going to see him play both sides of the ball as much as sort of we think right now. I think you're going to see him play a lot more offense than you do defense. I do think what we will have to look at, Hurt, is how does the game now work? What does it allow you to do that currently it doesn't allow you to do? And then how do we put parameters around that actually make sense? Because I find in the NFL, it is a rarity. Everybody wishes they had a Taysom Hill, a Travis Hunter, TBD on Travis Hunter. And everyone's looked for Taysom Hill, and no one has found Taysom Hill. And Taysom Hill still plays one side of the ball. So I think we're going to have to see what the game allows, because I think in Madden, there'll be more players that could do it than in real life. And then how do we sort of put parameters around that to not make it go crazy? That's going to be the interesting piece, but we won't know until we get the game in hand.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, as we've talked multiple times, like the coding and how the game is built, it's a new game, new products, and there's going to be, a whole another year of testing and trying and, playing with the settings and the sliders and all that fun stuff. So open up a whole nother conversation for shows down the road. But I think for me right now, I personally agree. I think Travis Hunter is a great athlete, but I don't think in the college game, he can play corner because he's an athlete. I think in the NFL, it's a different breed, different type of game, different mindset, different physicality, all that stuff. I think he's more suited to be a receiver just on his ball skills. When I sit and look at his games, like being a big college fan and being a Husker fan, and Colorado is a big rival, I always kind of hated well, he's the Heisman, like, guaranteed. And it was like, I mean, yeah, he played a lot of snaps and everything, but like Ashton Genty's numbers were just off the charts. And you can't say he didn't play anybody because he did it against Oregon in the regular season. And like games where Travis Hunter played, a team like Kansas State or somebody who he didn't even play the top teams in the Big 12, BYU, Iowa State, some of the other schools that aren't even top of the line, like air it out passing teams, he struggled against defensively. He had always had pretty good numbers receiving wise. And so I just think that that's going to speak to volumes to where he probably should focus. But why, that's a whole conversation, and that's why I'm here, not getting paid to do
Yeah,
that. But if I were to,
you and me both.
be a scout, that would be my take. Is he would be a receiver, and maybe a special teams player. You know, maybe like a dime back or a nickel back in a certain situation or something like that. But I don't think he's going to make it in the NFL as a corner.
Yep, I think it's going to be fairly tough for him to be able to do that, but we'll see. Again, like you said, that is the reason I don't get paid NFL money. Another one from Bird to me, Nate. Your team has been playing, let me get this out of the way, really well right now. What do you attribute this hot streak to? One thing and one thing only, Bird, quicker decisions. I feel like I've just sped it up. I've been hitting the lab all cycle, but something just started clicking. I found my timing. I found my rhythm. The running game is still not what I wish it was. That's still a little hit and miss, but it is for a lot of us. If you go look at the stats, it's just an easier passing game than it is running the ball right now. And so just making quicker decisions has really helped me. Mr. Big Hurt, you got a couple of questions here. Looking at Madden 25, what team or owner has been the biggest overall surprise? Well, that's been and then you had a second one, disappointment or shock. So I'm gonna look at both of these at the same time. Biggest surprise, Denbrew not being as dominant for the entire cycle. He's been dominant in spurts, but not the entire cycle. That's been a surprise. It has also been a surprise that Nipples has been as engaged as he has been for most of the cycle. That, just to be honest, that doesn't happen. Little Koch struggling this cycle has been a pretty big surprise. Colin winning a Super Bowl. No, I don't think any of us would have thought that would have happened, but he's been really, really good. Bill struggling with a rebuild with the Giants. A little hot, a little cold this entire cycle has been a surprise. And I think almost inarguably the biggest surprise has been D-Money. I love you, D-Money. If you watch these shows, I don't even know if you do, but just full tank mode. Let's just call it what it is. Like you can't argue with the guy either. Like he is one of the most like mentally brilliant human beings we have in our league. And if you try to argue with D-Money, you're probably going to lose. And a dumb like me always loses. But I think it's very clear that he is in full tank mode. Why? I don't know. I don't even know what sense it makes. And it's funny that he's only won one this year, and still the vibe around D-Money is like, oh, he's doing this for the future. And I'm like, for what? He's lost most of the games, 5 of the 6 seasons here. Like, chill out. Like, who cares? If he wants to waste his time, then let him waste his time. What about you? Biggest surprises, biggest disappointments?
Yeah, I mean, this is a fun one. I could spin it. However, I think biggest surprise would be based on success, or whatnot, is that Meek hasn't had more success in the playoffs than following the success he's had in the regular season, and how he's not been in an OMFL bowl game yet. I also would say Roger, with everything that he's got going on in life, and he's had some success, and it's good for him, and I'm happy for him because that guy deserves it. But yeah, like that guy's got we all have life going on outside, but like the stuff that dude's been through is, a whole different world than some of us even could imagine. And to see this guy putting up 9 wins, being able to be engaged with all of that, I'm happy for it. I'm happy to see it. I would agree, Denbrew. I think Denbrew's just dominance in previous cycles and just his struggle, like he made it last season, but that was kind of like the one season, and then he followed up this year and he's just struggled. He is in a tough division. I think Little Koch, I expected him to have more success before now, but he's got it going now. I would say I'm shocked to see that Penguins, Randy, or Cincy has not been in the OMFL Bowl. yet, because I think one of those three teams are guys that I look at that could be like, oh yeah, they're OMFL Bowl contenders each and every season. And to see that one of those three guys hasn't even been representing the AFC yet is kind of a shock. And then the last thing I would say is, I would say the biggest shock for me is Massimo's struggles. I just
fair.
think he is such a dominant, he's a hardcore Dolphins fan. He's like, he can pass to the best of a lot of people, but just seeing his struggles like these last couple seasons, I think Massimo really is somebody that I think could always be a playoff contender. And his just inconsistency, I'll throw Bill in there too. He made that one OMFL Bowl run. That guy could play like defense to the elite of this league. And being in the division that he's in, I think you play to your competition, and he gets to play Dwayne twice a year, and he always gave Dwayne a run for his money. But it just seems like this cycle, I don't know if it's not clicking, hasn't figured it out. Confidence, I don't know what it is, but just kind of been more of a struggle outside of that one OMFL Bowl run.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'd also put Meek maybe in there. Surprised that he just hasn't won a bowl. There's something about the playoffs that ends up tripping him up. You had another one looking into the future for Madden 26. What team will be the best suited right out of the gate for that owner in Madden 26? I'm going to take Dwayne off the table because I don't care what team Dwayne has been handed. He's going to be ready to go. I'm not quite sure where Maniac is going to fall with his team, so sort of makes me pause about who will own the Bills. So I'm going to go with kind of old faithful Nipples and those Baltimore Ravens. I think they're going to be a pain right outside of the box, and they're going to be somebody that everyone's going to have to deal with. What about you?
I know I'm excited to see, but I think depending on what Penguins does with the Steelers, I think just because quarterback situation could be interesting there. I also think the Texans, they've got a solid young core now that's going to be in that prime of their contracts and their playing time. They added a guy like Nick Chubb as a running back. So I'll be interested to see Roger having like that, probably, I would say, decently rated power back with a air attack passing game. Could be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Trey does and where he lands up. I don't know if I don't think he wants to stay with the Commanders, but
Tim, the Lions, maybe?
I think the other team I would throw out there is Denver going back to the Bengals, just getting his team. The Bengals have that potent offense, and maybe that's what he needs. But then also Koch going to the Browns, like, who could, work with that. One team that there's two teams that one is changing teams and one that is staying his team. I'll say Colin with the Bears, just the way the Bears have had an offseason. He's going to have a lot of pieces. He's not going to, but what he imports is going to be vital, and he's going to have a picking of a lot of good pieces. But that Bears team is going to be really good right out of the gate. And then I would say it'll be interesting. If I remember right, I think Logan is switching to the Patriots, correct?
Got me? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he traded with Lost Sniper. I know he was trying to trade. He wanted to trade with me with the Vikings, and I told him that I was going to stay with the Vikings. But I think he traded with the Patriots. It'd just be interesting because Logan, as an owner, I don't know that the Patriots are quite the roster,
right?
But putting him in that division could be interesting. So it's just gonna be like a weird shakeup. I always like the new ending of one cycle and the start of a new cycle, just to see how the teams are, who gets imported, who's got their new team, and like who does what to kind of out of the gate to build that team. And this is always just kind of a fun time for me, kind of like draft time in a way, but you get all the rookies like in real life and all that stuff. So just an exciting time.
Tim and the Lions also could be another team that's set up to win out of the get-go. Dean Wayne's going to wrap us up. Quite a few coaches kept expensive quarterbacks this cycle. Do you see that trend staying or falling back to drafting quarterbacks and keeping them until their cheap contract expires? I think you're always going to see a bit of a mixture, but depending on the team, you're going to see more often than not, teams are going to go draft a cheap quarterback or work with a rookie quarterback that they've been given or that they can maybe build. Like me and the Saints, I got to just see, like, cap is still going to be hell for me. I'm going to have two really cheap quarterbacks. Do I suck it up for a season and just struggle and then go draft one or build one, right? Like, it's going to be interesting, but I think more times than not, going with the cheaper quarterback will be the best option. The D. Waynes of the world who can continue to pay their quarterback and build amazing teams are just few and far between.
Yeah, I mean, D. Wayne's I feel like he puts himself, because Cowboys rosters got a lot of contracts, but it just never fails to have a solid quarterback. And then it's not like he needs that guy, but because he runs the ball so effectively. But he seems to still keep his Parsons and Sam Williams and all the other contracts that are coming up, the corners and the linebackers and the line and CeeDee Lamb and everybody else to keep the team together. I personally think more teams lean towards having a cheaper quarterback, but I also feel like this Madden with the offensive line play, being that you had to have a better line, teams wanted the better quarterback to throw under pressure, escape, and hit those routes and stuff like that. So that's why I feel like we saw maybe a little bit more money spent in the quarterback room, because you have that quarterback that can throw under pressure or whatever and do those things. Whereas the line play probably is, like I said, a little bit more realistic, or valuable. But I just think it's interesting to see guys like Brock Purdy, or we had, JJ McCarthy. We had a couple high-end quarterbacks that were sitting out there in free agency for a period of time. At one point, I think, Nightsinger picked up Brock Purdy mid-season. And I want to say Priest picked up a quarterback at one point too, but it's just the Brad Whites of the world. Some of those high-end quarterbacks, like the Dolphins had I can't think of the guy's name.
Joe Duke.
Before he had this rookie, but
Joe Duke.
Yeah, Duke. So it'll be interesting to see what teams do. I'm really interested to see like what Twinkie does. Does he bring that rookie quarterback? I hope he does, because that dude's a stud.
Yeah, he's a stud.
But we'll just only time will tell.
All right, let's wrap it up with our little discussion question, a quick round table back and forth between me and you. Favorite and least favorite item from the Madden 26 news. If you didn't get to watch that Friday episode a couple weeks ago, go watch it from Maniac and I. We broke down the trailer, the blog, all the things that we're hearing from Madden 26, and hopefully we'll get some deep dives this week. I got a lot of time off coming up, unfortunately, because of the job situation. So I'm going to have tons of time to stream and do all kinds of things. But what was your favorite and least favorite? I want to get us started with my favorite thing. It has to be the Movement 2.0 and the Wear and Tear 2.0. That's going to be coming. Wear and Tear is going to be coming to Madden 26 for the first time ever. I loved that feature. I thought it was a little aggressive, so I'm really interested to see 2.0. I always feel like 2.0 is always better. Anytime they add something new, it's a little shaky. You sort of see the concept, but it's not quite there. It's always better the second time. And then the movement. I think it was a miss this year. It was okay at times, but I think we totally, it's a miss, and it's supposed to be better going into Madden 26 and college football 26. So those are a tie for me for my favorite thing. My least favorite thing is the coaching trees. I'm over abilities. I will say, college football did it way better. I really like not only college football's abilities, but the fact that you don't pick how a player progresses. They just progressed. I loved. I don't know that that's coming to Madden, but I loved that. It added in a layer that you couldn't control for. I feel like Madden's a little too controllable. You can figure out which ones are the best and just do that every single week and have an absolute superstar stud within 1 or 2 seasons, usually 1 season. Little Koch, case in point, took like a 57 overall fat quarterback and turned him into a superstar X factor within 1 season. It's too controllable. I love college football where it's like, here's a really good player. They're going to develop on their own. And then our incentive points that you earn, you can add those in a controllable way, but those are much more limited. I wish and hope that comes over. I have my doubts. I just don't think it will. But what about you? What were some of your favorite and least favorite things about Madden 26?
I think the player movement for sure. I think the other thing, like, just stuff that I've been hearing is the ability of guys to make plays, but have to be able to like have their eyes on the ball type of stuff. Just gives a little bit more sense of reality. Like if a linebacker is running, turns and runs downfield and he's playing that deep zone, and you throw the ball, he's not going to just be like eyes in the back of his head, jump up, pick it off over his shoulder type of stuff. He's got to be able to like get his head turned around and see the ball. I'm interested to see, like I said, going back to the player movement, the run game. I feel like the run game every year is just kind of like, I'm waiting to see, like, I want to see, I always talk about it with like in real life with the team that I'm coaching, but just working to the next level and from the line of scrimmage. I feel like they do a very bad job at times, but then they also block it sometimes. And when you have the right setup as a coach, I'm like, oh, this is going to work. And then the guy knifes through the middle of my line. And I'm like, how did you not pick that guy up? And it's not like they went and picked somebody else up. They just went to like no man's land. And I just think like if we saw an offensive line blocking to the next level, working a double team to the linebacker level, like it would just be interesting to see what kind of running game, if you had a good offensive line like the Cowboys or like, the Eagles have, as much as I hate the Eagles, but like if you can run behind that and like really just see some owners here utilize the running game more than less of the passing game to see like what of the balance of the powers, the parity, how that would play out. So I'm hoping that the player movement isn't just like players in space movement or cuts. I hope it's more like player movement from a D-line standpoint or D-tackle standpoint, disengaging blocks, like linebackers, fighting off a block or, a lot of that other extra stuff that we don't ever really, we always just talk about like, oh yeah, he made that great spin move or that great juke move or that juke move is annoying. Like, I feel like that's what player movement is. But I think there's a lot more that goes into that. So, with the focus point on that, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I hope I've heard this revamp franchise, like kind of mode, like what is that? Like we've talked so many times about like enhancing the draft, giving us this, giving us that, like, taking away the coaching stuff. Like there's so much that could go into it. And I feel like the opportunities are endless. And I would love to see someone like new to the team just kind of be like, hey, let's revamp this, and not has nothing to do with gameplay, but it has more to do with like the structure of how you play the franchise. And if you did that like with the gameplay, I would probably complain less about the gameplay and be like, hey, this is a great franchise setup. I'll deal with the gameplay. So
yeah,
there's a lot, but only one man can hope, and time will tell.
It's just me and you tonight, so you get to drop the mic. You got the next 1 minute to talk about what you want to talk about, so take off.
Well, let's see. I would say for me, I'm excited to see how the season wraps up. I do like the engagement that we've had so far for the most part. I want to see us finish strong, get to the playoffs and see what happens. College football is just around the corner here in a short month. Once that game drops, I'm sure everybody's going to be. I'm hoping to have enough time. Just got some news here. Actually, 2 days ago, I got another job offer, and
Nice.
so gonna probably be making some changes. But there's a chance that I could be gone for a month in training, which means I would be taking my system with me because I'd be staying in a hotel. So I might have a lot of time on my hands outside of work because I won't have the kids or any of that extra stuff for a whole month, and that would be like the month of August. So I might be getting my hands on a little extra college football, but we'll see. All those details are going to be worked out later this week with the actual official offer letter, and we'll see if that does take place. But I'm excited. You know, I love this place. I love playing hockey and Madden, college football with the guys, and being able to get away from life a little bit, and just kind of being able to chit chat. You know, like you and I were just talking about the College World Series. That has nothing to do with Madden, but you know, just being able to come with the guys and being able to have a conversation is something that just makes this place more valuable than a lot of people understand or think until you're a part of it. So let's finish the season strong and get into Madden 26 and college football 26 and whatever else we're going to be playing in the next year. And until then, you know, hope everybody had a wonderful Father's Day and start looking towards the 4th of July.
Yeah, man, it's a fun time, and it's excitement is right around the corner. Maximum Football will drop in a couple of days. That's going to be, it's not going to have everything we wish it had, but it's going to have some new things that we can start kind of messing with. NHL 25 is rocking and rolling. Mr. Maniac is crazy in love with that and got that rocking and rolling. So if you play that, make sure you come check out the NHL club that we have. Yeah, and it's going to be a lot of fun coming up. I have the whole week of July 4th off. It's sort of a forced fun thing that's happened to happen with my organization right now. And so I, too, am going to have a lot of time off to do some gaming. And I'm not ready to talk about it, but on one of these streams, I will talk about a life thing that happened to me this past weekend. And I'm lucky to still be here, and that gives you a new appreciation for the friendships and the connections that we all have here and that we all get to share. So I appreciate every single one. We are in the dog days of summer. People are disengaged. The chat is dead. I get it. We're here. We're going to get through it as we always do. I appreciate all of you guys who come hang out with me, especially for the guys like Big Hurt, who come and help me on Press Pass Live. Guys, that's going to be it. It's going to wrap up our show right at an hour and 10 minutes. Look at us, Big Hurt. We got it under 2 hours. I'm pretty proud of ourselves. Let me get out of here. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of those around you. Know that you matter. We will see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Push that like and subscribe.